So today we're going to be solving triangles that are not right triangles. Because they're not right triangles, that means we cannot use the Pythagorean theorem. You can, however, add up the angles to 180. That rule still applies. So if we're looking at the first example, we have two angles and one side, and it says to find x, so find that missing side. We also cannot use SOHCAHTOA. So what you can do is, if it was asking for the third angle, we could just add it up to 180. That last angle would be 52 degrees. But I am asking for the side, and so there's this new law of sines. And so if we're looking at this triangle, notice that each angle is across from the same matching side. Okay. And so the law of sines is that if you put side A over sine of angle A, so the angle across from it, that's the same as side B over sine of the angle B, which is the same as side C over sine of the angle C. Now, there are only certain type of triangles you can use it for. You can use it for angle, angle, side triangles and side, side, angle triangles. So to find x in example 1, what I do, you can use this for if you have a side across from an angle. So I have a side across from an angle, so I put the side up top and sine of the angle down bottom. And that's going to equal, I am trying to find side x, so I put x up top, and it's across from sine 58. So then to solve this, what I do is cross multiply. So I would have x times sine of 70 equals 16 sine of 58. And then I'm trying to get x alone, and so I'm just going to divide over sine of 70. That gets rid of it. And then I can just put this entire thing into my calculator, and as long as I'm in degree mode, it'll give me the answer for the side. Alright, so I go and I do 16 sine 58. I close it, parenthesis after the 58, and then divide by, again, make sure you're in degree mode, 70. And I get 14.4. So that is the side that it was asking for. If you wanted to find the last side, you would do law of sines again. So for example 2, I'm given two sides and an angle, but I'm given a side across from the angle, so I can do it. It says solve the triangle, so we're solving for everything. So I'm going to use the ratio that they gave me, so the side over sine of the angle across from it. And I'm going to use the side that I have left over, that's going to go on top. And I'm trying to find the angle, I'm going to find the angle across from it, so x. I'm going to cross multiply. And I'm going to try to get the sine x alone. So I divide over 8. Now, since we're trying to get an angle, we talked about this in the last unit. To get an angle, you have to do second sine of whatever's on the other side of the equal sign. So you can go right to your calculator at this point and do second sine, and I just put in everything that's on the other side of the equal sign. So sine 6 sine 45 divided by 8. And I get 32 degrees. So my angle is 32 degrees. So I got one angle. To find the last angle, I add up to 180. And if I did that, I get 103. And now I have to find that last missing side. We'll call it y. So for that one, you can pick either ratio. You could use the 8 over 45. You could use the 6 over 32. I'm going to use the 8 over 45 because that's given to me, just in case I messed up. So 8 sine of 45. And then I don't know the side, so y goes up top. And sine of 103. I cross multiply. I now need to get rid of the sine of 45, so I divide it over. And since I am finding a side, I do not need to do second sine in my calculator. I just put that all in. So 8 sine of 103 divided by sine of 45. And I get 11. So my last side was 11. Sometimes you will have a triangle where you will not have a side across from an angle. So this means you have to use law of cosines. So law of cosines, there are 3 formulas for each side. So if I take the side A and I square it, it equals the other 2 sides squared and added together. So it starts off looking like Pythagorean theorem. Then minus 2 times those other 2 sides, so times BC, times cosine of the angle across from the side we're trying to find, so A. Alright, now for side B, B squared equals the other 2 sides squared and added together, minus 2 times those other 2 sides, A and C, times cosine of the angle across from the side that we're trying to find. The last formula, C equals the other 2 sides added together and squared, minus 2 times those other 2 sides, times cosine of big C. You can use this for side angle side and side side. So if we're looking at this triangle, we're trying to find that side there. So I do not have an angle across from it, so I'm going to have to use the law of cosines. So to find that x, it would be that side squared equals, you add together the other 2 sides and square them. Then it's minus 2 times those 2 sides. And then cosine of the angle across from the side, so 80. And all we did is we were following this formula. If you would just plug in, so I'm just going to use this right here, A, B, C, angle A, B, C. So we just fill it in to that formula, and that's how I got that. So then I go to my calculator, and I'm just going to plug that all in. So I do 20 squared plus 45 squared minus 2, 20, 45, and then cosine of 80. Again, you got to be in degree mode. I get that. Now that's what x squared equals. So to figure out what x by itself equals, I do that. If I don't want to have to rewrite the 2012 number, after I do the square root symbol, I hit second subtraction sign. That takes the answer from the previous, and then I get 45.96, or I'll just round it to 46 degrees. Or not degrees, 46, because it's a side. After you do that, if it was asking for all the sides, you could go back and use law of sines, because now I have a side across from an angle, and so I can use law of sines to find the other stuff. Alright, the last example. So solve it if A is 8, B is 3, C is 10. So this is side, side, side. So I will put my letters on here. So A is 8, B is 3, and C is 10. So since you know all 3 sides, it doesn't really matter which formula you use, because you would be able to fill it in. However, the way that you choose which one to use, the A, the B, or the C, is you pick the largest of the 3 sides. So the largest side is C, and so I'm going to be using the C squared formula. So I do 10 squared equals 8 squared plus B squared minus 2 times those 2 sides, cosine, and this is what we don't know. We don't know angle C, so cosine of C. So we're solving for this angle right now. So you have to use a little more algebra in this case. So this is how you're going to do it. You cannot just put all of this junk in and then divide it over. It doesn't work like that. So what you do first is you're just going to do it a little at a time. So you first want to do 8 squared plus 3 squared. So I go to my calculator, and I do 8 squared plus 3 squared, and I get 73. And on this side, 10 squared is 100. And then I'm going to do this stuff, 2 times 8 times 3. So 2 times 8 times 3 is 48. So now it looks a little nicer. So from this point, what you have to do is subtract over the 73. So 100 minus 73 is 27. And then I need to divide over negative 48. And you get a decimal when you do that. You get negative 0.5625. So then, since I'm trying to find an angle, I do second cosine of what's on the other side of the equal sign. And I get 124 degrees. So my angle right here is 124 degrees. So now you could use the law of cosines to find the other stuff, but I think law of sines is easier. So now that I have a side across from an angle, I'm going to do law of sines to find the other two. So I put the side over sine of 124. And then since you know all three sides, you can choose whatever side you, or whatever the other angle you'd like to find first. So I will find angle B. So I'm going to put side B, which is 3, over sine of angle B. And I'm going to cross multiply, so I have 3 sine of 124 equals 10 sine of B. Divide over 10. And now I'm finding an angle, so I have to do second sine of everything on the other side. So 3 sine of 124. Close the parenthesis, divided by 10. I get 14.4. So that is angle B. And then to find angle C, you could use law of sines, but it's probably easier just to add it all up to 180, and that would bring this one to be 41.6. You'll have a video quiz tomorrow. Your word is jogging, so write that down.